We're back on Fastened Up Insta Live. This is a series of Insta Live sessions with different people that Fastened Up brings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have more days where we also do other things, and it has been a fabulous journey talking to multiple people. And today we are, in fact, talking to another very interesting person, Ripu Daman, who is also well known as a blogman of India, and it'll be fantastic to talk to him today. We at Fastened Up have been uh, talking to a lot of sports people in different sports, and today we have Ripu Daman, also known as the Blogman of India, joining us. Let me see if Ripu is ready for us. Ripu, to the discussions and interactions today. Uh, it's a Friday evening for all of us. Uh, ever since the COVID came, uh, weekends have really merged onto the weekdays. But hopefully things will get back to normalcy. And we have Ripu Daman joining us from Delhi today.
Hi, good evening. Can you
Are
see
you
me,
able to?
hear me well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, fine. Are you able to hear me well?
Absolutely. I found a good corner in my home where there's a lot of sunshine, so I don't have to switch on the light. I hope you guys can see me well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I think it's looking good, Ripu. So
Yeah.
let me give a quick introduction to Ripu. Ripu is obviously a great friend of ours. He has been into the running field for a lot of time now. But further, apart from the running, he's also an avid traveler, an entrepreneur, and has also really been around making the concept of blogging a bit more giving that importance to blogging these days for almost a couple of years now, I would say. And I think it's an honor for us, Ripu, that you are around. How are things today with you?
All good. Thank you so much for having me, and it's always a pleasure. I mean, this is how it happened, right? So I had reached out to your team saying, look, I am doing this series called Trash Talk with Flogman of India,
Mhm.
and I've been getting people from various fields, and I would love to have Vijay on the conversation. And they're like, oh, wonderful, you come on our conversation. We'll call it Trash Talk. That's how this happened. So.
It's always good, Ripu. So, Ripu, we have had interesting discussions with multiple people, multiple sports personalities. And I think today's discussion would be a very interesting thing because it's a slightly different subject. Not many people know what you do in the true sense of it. So, it'll be good to talk about it later. But before
Sure.
we get on to that, Ripu, how are things now? The COVID has really upset the entire world. How are things happening with you?
I mean, I'll be honest. Like everyone was hit, I was hit as well. So I took a decision to lock myself up on 18th of March, which was almost a week before the actual lockdown happened, and
Mhm.
multiple reasons, but primarily I have a single mother at home, and obviously I could see where the pandemic is going. So I decided to take a call much before the government and accordingly the rest of the people did. All right. So, and then when you take such decisions, because you're so used to being out there, and like you rightly said, I love traveling. That's one of my passions, apart from actually going anywhere and cleaning up. So all of that was completely cut down. There was nothing that I could do, right? So, and then there were other things that I was working on, which kind of got stuck as well. So now I had to reinvent and figure out what to do. So the first 4 weeks were actually really hard because there wasn't enough motivation. I was figuring out what to do for myself and how to keep the momentum going. So it did take a toll mentally, but I think I did decide to change things around the 22nd of March, April, which was the Earth Day, and that's when the
Mhm.
trash talk started as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, things have been looking up from that time. I've been doing a lot of online live sessions as well. I
Mhm.
have been working on some other things as well, which I will hopefully announce soon.
That's nice. So, are you still keeping yourself fit? And if so, in what way?
I have to be honest, not really. So look, I think fitness from I think we give a lot of importance to just physical fitness, but mental
Hmm.
and emotional fitness is extremely important as well.
Sure.
So if I look in hindsight, the last 2 months, it
Hmm.
has given me ample opportunity and time to stay at home, spend time at home, do a lot of cooking, try out new things that I hadn't done. So, from an overall fitness perspective, absolutely yes. Am I in top physical fitness shape? No, absolutely not. But I have decided by the start of May that I'm going to get back into my top fitness, and I am slowly and steadily getting back, and that's where Fasten Up helps as well, especially
No,
because it's getting really hot.
right. So, but that's the beauty of fitness, right? I mean, it need not
Yeah.
be the regular form of fitness. You can actually do a lot of other things as well, and still keep fit, right? Keep yourself fit.
Yes.
And you also mentioned a very important thing called the mental fitness, and I think that is an important element which has been a subject which really has been going around for a lot of time now with this COVID thing
Right.
happening. So I think glad that you brought that up. Ripu, let me just go back into some subjects which probably people would want to hear. Uh,
Sure.
you have actually, I mean, when did you start running? I mean, and how did marathon come about?
Sure. So I have been a sports person all my life. I've
Hmm.
played, as usual, cricket, football. I know you've played state level cricket. I've played as well. I've played football, volleyball, handball, and I was
Hmm.
into athletics, track events. 800 and 1500 were my events. So I played these at state, district, university, various levels. And
Hmm.
I was into running 800, 1500 meters during university.
Hmm.
Then corporate life happened, and some of these things just were left behind. I was playing corporate cricket at that time, and I had a major hamstring injury back in 2013. It was such a major hamstring injury that for the next 1 year I couldn't walk without a limp. So, let alone walking, I mean, there was no running, right? So,
Right.
then when I put on a little weight, there were a lot of issues. Lifestyle, yeah, lifestyle wasn't great as well. There was no social life. There was no working out for the next 3 years. In 2016, I decided to take a stock of where I stand in terms of fitness, and that's when I decided to start traveling, and I decided to start running as well. Unfortunately, my legs from that hamstring injuries were still very weak. I hadn't worked on them for literally 4 years. So I
Hmm.
decided to do cycling, and my first ever cycling was in Bhutan. I did 1,000 kilometers in 10 days across the hilly terrains of Bhutan, and I was like, wow, okay, I can do cycling maybe. I did a lot of mountain biking there, and I did
Sure.
that for a year when when I thought, okay, my legs are strong enough. And by end of 2016, I started running, giving myself a goal at the start that, okay, I will start building up endurance very quickly. I will start running to moving towards half marathon and full marathon. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but I did register for my first full marathon within 4 months of my running long
Mhm.
distances.
You must be quite an adventurer in that sense.
I know that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but because
Yeah.
I had a base, I mean,
Yeah.
also we need to look at when somebody starts running at the age of 40, right?
Mm.
And you haven't been an athlete all your life, and suddenly you decide, okay, midlife crisis happened, and you want to do something about it. I mean, I probably was blessed because I have that sportsman base that I've
Mm-hmm.
always worked on my fitness. And there was a gap of 3, 4 years when it was completely gone. But
Sure.
I guess the muscle memory would still have been there, and that's how I was able to pick it up very fast. But
Right.
not recommended.
No, no, fair enough, Ripu. And I think there are certain things that you talked about which really resonates with me as well. So that's a great, good thing to have.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what the concept of blogging is. I mean, how did that come about? And I was reading somewhere that the whole concept of vlogging is a Swedish concept, right?
Yeah.
So can you talk about a little bit about the concept and how things evolved in the world and in the country as well?
Sure. So plugging happened to me the same time as running happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when I started running, we all train in the mornings, right? There's lesser people and no traffic at all. So what I observed most was trash and plastic all around me. So it was like, let's do something about it. And if I
Wow.
had to get so I started with my running group. Now with my running group, obviously if I get them to clean up, they will run and clean up. It's a natural habit for runners to run, right? So we
Sure.
made it a cool down activity for our group. It
Mm-hmm.
became a super hit activity. So I thought, why not let's make it a national movement? So I started talking to my friends in Bombay, all the running groups in Bombay, Pune, Kolkata, Bangalore, and said,
Right.
why don't you try this activity? But of course, it was difficult for me to motivate them sitting remotely in Delhi. So I started
Right.
traveling. I had my own tech startup at that time. So I was
Mm-hmm.
anyways traveling for meetings. So wherever I used to travel, I used to go and find a running group, or if I knew the running group, I would just go there, talk to them, and try to make this the cool down activity of their run at that time, right? So that's how it all started. Of course, there wasn't a term of it. There was no plugging term, right? We were just running and cleaning up. And initially, I named it My City, My Responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But my mission statement was I wanted to make cleaning up other people's litter the coolest thing to do in India. So trying to make something look cool, sound cool, and not having a cool term is not cool. That's how
Right.
blogging came in. That's how we got to know one day that somebody in Sweden, Eric Alstrom, had named this running and cleaning up blogging. And by end of 2017, we renamed ourselves to Bloggers of India. That's how it all started.
Oh, fantastic. So, Ripu, let's talk about the importance of blogging itself when it comes to. I mean, let's talk about the running events first, and then maybe take it
Yeah.
to a larger picture. But what is the significance of blogging for a running event in the country? I mean, there are so many running events, and I
Yeah.
know for a fact that every running event leaves behind a lot of trash around. But talk us through the process, what happens, yeah, and the benefits.
Yeah, so look, like I say, plogging is just a fancy term for cleaning up. It's a cool term for cleaning up.
Mm,
But it is about making it an important part of everything that we do, including running events, right? So it was very important to have a great bib expo. It was very important to have a T-shirt
mhm,
and a really nice medal for the runner to brandish, right? Similarly, post-run hydration and nutrition, all of that was extremely important. Now,
mhm,
it's also important that we try to make our events litter free, carbon footprint, all of that, and that's how we will get to a stage where even these running events
mhm,
are not just healthy for the people who take part in it, it's healthy for the environment as well, right? So
mhm,
we've partnered with a lot of these running events, including, I mean, we did a lot of events, the known events like NEB, where
mhm,
we said, why don't we give runners options
mhm.
to have reusable cups on the hydration station. So if you have
Sure.
two tables at the hydration station, have your
Mhm,
plastic bottles on one
mhm,
table, and the
mhm.
people who are chasing their PBs might just go for those bottles, and
Right.
half of the people might just pick up the walkers, for example, will just pick up the the cup, drink it from it, and then put it in the trash bin, which can be easily then reused or recycled, right? So it's not just
Mm.
about logging and cleaning up. It is about just what's that called? I mean, sending a message across of
Right.
responsible events, and that's what we want to do.
That's it. So the other question that I would want to hear from you, the answer would be, what actually happens to the trash or things that has been collected?
Right.
Is there a tie-up with some organizations or treating facilities to kind of recycle it? What actually happens?
So firstly, I'll mention this that it's a very gray area
Mm-hmm,
because once anything which is littered and it is
mm-hmm,
mixed with mud, soil, it's wet. So for example, if there is paper which can be recycled, obviously if it's wet, then you can't really do anything about it. Similarly, there are other things as well. for example, the plastic bottles or high grade plastic bottles, if they are muddled with soil, then their recyclability reduces as well. So the best thing to do is, the ideal thing to do is just completely reduce or cut down on the waste generated. If we can't do that, then we have to work harder towards recycling and segregating the waste. Paper and cardboard needs to go separate, plastic needs to go separate, styrofoam, multi-layered packaging needs to go separate. And the last thing is the actual recycling of it. So in a lot of our events, the big events that we do, we have various partners and stakeholders who actually collect all the waste and try to segregate as much as possible. The high grade plastic goes into making of, let's say, fabric, for example, these days, right? So my partner during the campaign, one of my campaigns was Aralan, which is a Reliance company. They made t-shirts out of it, and all the multi-layered packaging, the chocolate, the biscuits, the chewing gum packets go into making of roads because they are non-recyclable, right? So nothing can be done about it. So they make tarmac and roads out of it. So it is a gray area, and the best thing for us to do is figure out ways to cut down. I mean, if runners become responsible and we all can carry our own hydration to the
Right.
maximum extent and still get our PBs, I'm sure we can get there, and I'm sure we can cut down on our waste.
Oh, well said, Ripu. So I also know that you have a record of sorts for doing a 50-kilometer plogging effort under 10 hours, I believe. So how
Yeah.
did it happen, and what was that experience then?
So in January this year, I did this in Kota. So I was invited by there's a very nice run they organize there called the Chambal Challenge. So it's a trail run. It's a beautiful trail going through villages and forests, and it's a beautiful trail. And they invited saying, please do join us and inspire people. I'm like, what will if I just come there and show my face, how will that inspire people? So let me do something about it. They had
Yeah.
distances of 33, 50, 63, and 80 kilometers, I guess. So I said, okay, I'll do 50 kilometers. It will be the first ultra plogging run. And they said, okay, if that's the case, then we will register a world record accordingly. And that's how it happened. And I hope that nobody has to ever do it. I hope we all become responsible. Yeah, because look, we runners, we understand, right? When we run long distances, it's the momentum that you get into. There's a Zen-like momentum that you get into. Plogging or cleaning up will never let you get into that momentum, right? You
Sure.
run a few meters and you find something and you have to squat, you have to lunge, lateral lunge, forward lunge, courtesy lunge, whatever that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So it just freaks you out because you will never get a momentum. So those 9 hours and 15 minutes were real torture. So I would never want to do it again, but it was fun. It was an amazing experience, and it felt that I was doing something which will set an example for everyone to follow, and hopefully the right message that people will start becoming responsible.
No, I think a lot of things like plogging really needs to become a habit, right? As you rightly said,
Yeah.
make it a habit so that there is less litter which is to be cleaned up. So
Right.
I think your efforts are in that direction. So that is a welcome thing for all of us in terms of recognizing this is required. Ripu, I was also fascinated, if I remember, about your effort that where you went all around India.
Yeah.
I think you went right down south to up north with this concept, and also tied it up into the Fit India movement, I believe. So, what was that about, and what was a few experiences out there?
So it was called Run to Make India Litter Free. And like the name suggests, it was like the first time we weren't talking about clean India or cleaning India. We were talking about litter free India, and litter free India can actually happen without cleaning up. We will just have to stop littering, and that was the message that I wanted to give through the campaign. So yes,
Sure.
I ran and cleaned up across 50 cities in about 50 days. Supposedly, probably the world's longest cleanup drive. And I started from Kochi on September 5th, and then covered the length and breadth of the country literally in those 50, 60 days. And I think the biggest experience that I've had was in every place, wherever we went, people just got to know and they joined in hordes, and it became a super hit experience also because we had kids joining in. A lot of schools invited me, and we were doing it with them as well. And with kids is the best experience. I mean, no other experience beats that experience. And then
Mhm.
happened this one fine day, I got a call from the Honorable Prime Minister,
Mhm.
and suddenly I was like, okay, what's happening? And he wanted to understand, what are you doing? What do you guys do? What is Plastic Upvas all about? What is trash worker? What is vlogging? Within those
Mhm.
15 minutes of conversation, he tried to figure out everything. And then he said, we will adopt it as a mission under the government, under the sports ministry through Fit India. And they announced the Fit India vlogging run on October 2nd, 2019, where close to 50 lakh people participated,
Wow.
right,
Mm.
on a single day. And I was
Mm.
invited to flag that off with the sports minister. So that was a huge honor for me.
Mm.
And then things just progressed from there. That same day, I was invited to Bombay. So in the morning, I was in Delhi. In the evening,
Mm.
I was in Bombay, sharing stage
Mm.
with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan to
Mm.
do a panel discussion on fitness with a cause. That was our panel discussion, 1 hour long panel discussion on NDTV. So it was
Mm.
just, I mean, it's a surreal experience because I was out there to give out a message of a litter-free India, and suddenly
Mm.
this the highest ranking authority in the government and the highest ranking authority in Bollywood literally were supporting the cause, and it became a huge cause, right? And we want to build that momentum because the ultimate goal is to make India litter-free. These are small milestones that will
Sure.
happen, but there's a long way to go.
No, I think that's very commendable, Ripu. But you also talked about making India litter free. So when it is about India, how has been the response of people across the country? I mean, let's talk about running first. Are you
Yeah.
seeing this trend picking up in different parts of the country? Are there more people who doing the same thing, contributing to the cause?
Of course, I mean, the idea was always to build these groups and people all over the country, right? One
Mm,
person on one group or a group of people can't be present everywhere.
right.
The idea is to get 1.3 billion Indians involved, not in cleaning up, but just to understand how you can stop littering.
Sure.
So, for example, I give 3 steps to a litter-free India. So, I'll just tell you, and I call it a magical formula. The magic is that all of us know about it, but
Mm,
the question is how many of us follow. So, step number one, put your litter in a trash bin only. Step
mm,
number two, if you see something lying on the road, pick it up and put it in a trash bin. Step number three, if you don't see a trash bin, keep your litter in your pocket, in your car, take it back home, segregate into dry and wet waste, and give it to the municipality tomorrow. Just these 3 simple steps. 1.3 billion Indians, all of us follow it. We will see a litter free India, right? So we're just trying to simplify it so that
mm,
everybody can be a
mhm.
part of the movement. Everybody can be a responsible citizen.
No, that's a great formula, Ripu. I think honestly, if everyone tries to do at least 70-80% of what you are suggesting, I'm sure things will be far better in each city, each place
Absolutely.
in India. Uh, Ripu, let's quickly go on to a quick rapid fire round where I'm going to ask you a few questions and you can
So
give me crisp and concise answers.
I
Um,
love rapid fires. I've done one. I remember last year when I was at TMM. You
mm,
guys had invited me to the office, and the team had done multiple videos with me. And the last one was rapid fire, and I was like, "ये पहले क्यों नहीं किया?" This was the most fun thing.
yeah. Anyway, I think let's get going. Ladakh Ultra or vlogging in Kota, which was more memorable?
I can't choose. I mean, Ladakh Ultra was like an amazing experience. My first ultra, overnight running. I can't choose. I mean, the thrill of doing your first ultra, that too all nighter, that
Mm,
too in Ladakh, and that too
mm,
when you just had your headlight and just you could just see that, right, and everything else was pitch dark. It was a surreal experience there as well. I can't choose. I mean, there's no chance.
uh, travel bug or couch potato?
Travel bug, of course.
Uh, Who's your inspiration?
My mother always.
If you were to describe Ripu Daman in one word, what would that be?
Not in one word, but I always say a boy who grew up too fast only to realize he's still a boy. There's so much to do in life, right? That there's a zeal for life that I want to continue exploring and seeing what all can we do, how we
Mm.
can do good for ourselves, our parents, my mother, and the world and earth in general. So yeah.
That's fantastic. I think let's get on to a few questions which are more getting to know you a little bit more.
Okay.
Fun questions generally. If you are doing some household core currently, which is that which you like doing the most?
Okay, so I can do all kinds of things. I cook, and I do jharu and pocha as well. And I started this challenge with Fit India called Home Plog. Since we
Okay.
can't go out and do plogging outside, we started this challenge called Home Plog, which is basically saying share the responsibility with your parents, clean up the
Mm-hmm.
house, and in turn get a workout and
Yeah.
fitness in your routine. So yeah.
No, I have to say that we have been doing it for the last.
Okay.
Uh,
Sorry, was that my network or your network? It completely broke off.
No, I was saying that we have been practicing it for the last 2 months at home with me, my wife, and two daughters sharing the responsibility for cleaning the house every day. So I think I'm totally in sync with what you have been talking about.
So
Uh,
my request is, since we anyways work together, we should do something called Fasten Up Hope Blog or something. We should actually take that out. And I saw the video as well. So
mhm.
we named it Home Blog. So why not ask people to do Home Blog? And because again, it's a cool term, so it's a challenge
It's a
out there.
wonderful concept. It's a wonderful concept, and what begins at home can be taken
Yeah,
outside and practiced
exactly.
in the outside world. Ripu, if on a travel, though traveling is becoming difficult, but if you are allowed only either of a running shoe or a plogging gloves, which would that be? Which you will take?
Running. Running
Running shoes.
shoe, I can flog without my gloves and my feet. If I mean, if somebody looks at it, they like it's alien and alien-esque feet. Adrak kitna, there are bones protruding out from everywhere. I don't know why. Why God is made. And of course, I have a flat foot, but there are
Yeah.
so many bones coming out from so many places that it doesn't seem like a human foot.
Mhm. Are you binge watching anything these days on Amazon, Netflix? If that is so, what is it?
I don't binge watch. I don't watch OTT. I read a lot, and
Okay.
my current read is O Jerusalem.
That's a nice book. So, any recommendations from you, Ripu? Three books that you would want to suggest to people?
I mean, my preferences are wide, and there's no particular preference. But I'll tell you what my last three reads were. My
Okay.
last read was From Moon to Microchips. It's about a
Mhm.
person who gave up his high-flying IBM career to become
Mhm.
a farmer. It really resonated with me because I was doing really well in my corporate career, and then I had my tech startup, and then I left all of that to do this full time. It doesn't pay me anything, right? So I was just trying to get some motivation, dude. How do you continue to do this when it doesn't pay you? So that was
Mhm.
the last one. I'm currently reading O Jerusalem. It's a marathon book, but great for these times since you have time on your hands. And the next
Great.
one is Mein Kampf, Hitler's book.
That's
Those are
nice.
my
Good.
current three reads.
Good suggestions, Ripu, on that. Uh, you said you were a good cook, or rather, you cook. What is your favorite recipe?
My mother, my nieces, everyone loves the cake that I bake.
Mhm.
It's the simplest of the cakes, but when I bake it, it generally comes out way better than what everyone does at home. So cake is always what I want to cook,
That's
bake.
good. Uh, so, once the lockdown is over, is there a place that you would like to go and visit?
I mean, I'd love to go to the mountains and the beaches, whichever comes first. Yeah, but I just want to go out. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic, Ripu. Great talking to you. I think we have had a jovial discussion, and in fact, I personally learned a lot about blogging during this discussion. The process itself and why it is so important. And I can just only share that all companies, brands are aware of it, and they would like to practice it, but it just needs to be made sure that it is a practical way of
Yeah,
executing this, and that's the most important, right? I mean, I'm sure
right.
everyone is on the same page when it comes to making the world a cleaner place, having less litter. Commerce can wait, but world cannot, right?
Yeah.
So
And
that's
right now is the best time to understand that everything
yeah.
else can wait, but then the world and the environment and nature cannot. And I think the
Mhm.
companies who will come out stronger in all of this is the companies who actually pivot very fast and take their approach towards a more eco-sustainable approach. And anyways, I keep talking to you guys and suggesting whatever that I can.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, would love to see all of those things coming into practice, which are financially viable as well, right? That's extremely important also. And I know some of those things are challenges initially, and that's so I propose something like circular economy, right? Everything that
Mhm.
gets manufactured comes back from the consumer once they've consumed it, gets refurbished, repurposed, and again refilled and sent back to the consumer. That ways,
Uh,
companies are actually reducing their manufacturing costs as well, right? And ultimately, because it's a circular economy, then there is no waste being generated also. So it is a double whammy. But of course, to put those practices in place does require a lot of effort, upstart effort, and investment as well. But once it comes into existence, then it does give you a lot of benefits.
No, you are right. Just to conclude with a small incident from our own history of the brand in the last 4 5 years, we did notice that our tubes were going out to a lot of people, and we really wanted to do something about it. So we actually saw that one of the big companies, Distillery, was actually recycling a lot of their bottles, and we in fact walked down because we saw their stall in one of those expos, uh,
Expose,
and and
yeah.
and, uh, and noticed that they had this CSR initiative. So what we did was we actually started taking back those tubes and then give it to Bisleri for them to recycle, because they have
Right,
a well established chain.
right.
These are small efforts, but I think I understand that we need to do much more. And I think we need people like you to educate and motivate a lot of us to keep doing it.
Yeah,
Thank you so
sure.
much for that, Ripu, and fun having you today.
Thank you so much. What I wanted to quickly do was just take a pledge that I always
Sure.
take pledge for Swachh Bharat. Can we take that?
Yeah, sure. Why
Let
not?
me sit in a more upright position because we're taking a pledge. So we'll take
Okay.
our right hand up, cross our heart,
Mm.
and we'll say, I'll say my name, you say your name, and everyone else can follow as well. So I, Ripu
Okay.
Daman,
I, Vijay,
take this pledge
take this pledge
that I will put my litter
that I will put my litter
in a trash bin only.
in a trash bin only.
Wherever I go,
Wherever I go,
I will carry my own jhola
I will carry my own jola
and say no to polythene and plastic bags.
and say no to polythene and plastic bags.
Wherever I go,
Wherever I go,
I will carry my own water bottle
I will carry my own water bottle
and say no to single use plastic bottles
and say no to single use plastic bottles
and say no to all kinds of single use straws.
and say no to all kinds of single use straws.
And because of all of this,
And because of all this,
I will make my country,
I will make my country,
my India litter free
my India litter free
and the cleanest country in the world.
and the cleanest country in the world.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ripu. Nice having you here, and all the best
Thank
for
you
your
so
all your
much.
other sessions. Yeah,
Thank you
and
so much, Vijay.
good seeing
Thank
you.
you for
Bye
having me.
bye.
Same
Bye
here.
bye.
Bye bye.